What's in the mind of a developer now?
We are certainly hopeful. We are hoping for a better year. Last year was a bit turbulent, a bit rough from the social landscape, economic landscape also. A little bit tight on cash, which also impacted us. The fluctuation in the interest rate did not do anyone any favors. We're hoping that we'll have a better year, a stable year on all fronts again, political, environmental, legal, so that the business community and in particular ourselves also get some time to do some work.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And of course, Anthony, you're doing a lot of developments, one of them being one of the units along within Nairobi. Talk to us about this development, and it's a bit unique. It's more of a 2-bedroom apartment. Why that kind of market, and is there a market for that product really?
I'm actually a member of a group of 3 or 4 people who think we can change how housing is being handled in the city. I was a founder of a company called Race Course Gardens, where we did about 436 studio 1 and 2-bedroom units. And from that development, we realized there was a great demand for 2-bedroom units. So this is a new development that we're working on, also called Falcon at Race Course, that we want to provide to the market 2-bedroom units. We are trying to get a specific mind shift from the Kenyan home seeker. We, for a good amount of time, we've looked at real estate or property that we live in from an almost wrong angle, not exactly wrong, but the approach of most Kenyans in acquiring their homes is sometimes defeats the purpose, their purposes. Everyone wants to build the ultimate home immediately, which fundamentally doesn't work knowing income levels.
That's true.
Meanwhile, we know all of us will have an economically productive life that spans about 30 to 40 years, from the moment you graduate college, university, to the moment, up to the time you retire. So over these 40 years, can we get somebody to think through the process in stages? The first 5 years, you live in what is just enough for a bachelor. Then when you get into your married life, move into what fits you and a young family. Then after that, as your family grows, then when it's time maybe to give the kids their own rooms, that's when now you can now look for bigger space. And when you're ultimately the mega millionaire everyone hopes to be, you can then trade that up and move to your Runda Kitusuru house.
How do you convince the market, where it's a culture where Kenyans are used to just saving up and buying that palatial home and then closing the deal? They're not ready for this kind of arrangement you're talking about. How do you plan on reaching out to people?
We are kindly asking people to have an internal self-dialogue. Look at your wallet and also look at infrastructure. If your account balance tells you this, and you know it's normally that, why gamble with purchasing a lot that is 50 kilometers from the central business district? Why go where there's no church, where there's no school, where there's no hospital for your children in case they fall sick at night? Try to balance those two. Come closer back to the city. Come closer to your workplace. It's going to make you more economically productive.
But it's not affordable, Anthony.
I think what lacked before was a lack of a product at that level. There is 2 or 3 developers in the market right now who are trying to offer now an adequate size of property at the lower scale. There's several in the market right now who've seen the space in even student accommodation, and then space for these young families, and now it's slowly catching on. Because not everyone can purchase the house in Kilimani or Parklands or Westlands.
And speaking about people having a mind shift, How are the trends like in the property developments that you are taking up so far? How is the uptake like?
The first development was successful. Race Coast Gardens has at least 70% of the units sold, and the project is yet complete, which shows that there's a demonstrated demand in the market for this class of property. We are yet to open on the new development, but even on that, we've had a lot of indicative demand. Yeah.
Indicative demand, of course, is sort of a surety that people will buy.
Yes.
And looking at this market you're targeting, you're saying you're looking to develop 2-bedroom apartments. What really drove you into this niche?
It started with my personal needs. When I graduated college about 12 years back, I looked for property. I believe since I was one of the people working in the property industry, then as a junior project manager, that maybe I should have a chance at staying in the same property that I developed. Then I realized that I was totally priced out of the market. And it's that personal need that made me, that over years I've accumulated, we've tried to accumulate knowledge and information about market trends, construction costs, and see if we can come up with an aggregate product that can suit a person who's leaving college, a person who's still growing, and
someone who's starting off.
Someone starting off. We are not yet there. Even what you're working on currently, there are a few market factors that are really pushing us. But with time, we hope to be able to deal adequately with the issues that are driving the costs of houses high, from the financing costs to the construction costs, the technology issues, the building code. It's a step by step. I've sat on 2 or 3 committees that constituted by government to try to deal with these issues, and we've had a little bit of progress. We had proposed a national housing authority. We got a national construction authority. There's 3 or 4 issues that need to be tackled from different perspectives by government, by private players in the industry, and we're getting there slowly. Yeah.
If you had to look at other markets in the region, the likes of South Africa, of course, Rwanda is also fast catching up. How would you describe their markets in terms of enabling investors vis-a-vis what we've been experiencing here in Kenya, where a lot of real estate developers have actually shown interest, but the ups and downs and the sophistication of the market has sort of pushed them to a corner, and they're saying, for me to succeed in the Kenyan market, I might think twice about it.
The one lucky item that works in favor of property developers in Kenya is the availability of a wide market. That we have a broad spectrum of people across different income levels, and a good number of businessmen, and a large number of successful enterprises. We may not be able to say so much for other countries in the region. Some countries even have a better enabling environment. I'm working on a project that's taken me a year just to get to groundbreaking. In Rwanda, I could have gotten there in a month.
Yeah.
But am I sure I'm going to be able to sell the same number of units in Rwanda as I will sell in Kenya? So sometimes we just sit and work with what we have, consider ourselves lucky, know it can be better, and we're trying to make it better. I'll give you an example. Yesterday I was looking at some British reports, British press reports, and government there takes land, does the designs, makes sure that the developments are already approved even before the developer comes onto the scene. In Kenya, I spent the last 1 year doing what someone else should have done. That meant as a developer, we could have assembled our money and just quickly go to site. So there are those kinks in the system, but it's an evolutionary process that is developing every day.
And of course, talk to us about the outlook for the real estate sector. We've seen a lot of hype around this area, and this has sort of opened the market to a lot of speculation, people saying that this is the best form of investment asset class that you could ever invest in. How true is this?
I'd invite people to be cautious. We'd really it would be better if we all focus our attention to building actual housing units. If you saw some press reports yesterday from our local media, there was an indication that land appreciated faster than real estate portfolio. Whereas where we classify real estate portfolio as built buildings. So how comes land is appreciating? Is that we had an increased number of farmers in the last year who went into horticulture or something? No. We have a huge number of speculators working in areas like Isinya, Syokimau, not Syokimau, Katani, Joska, Kamulu, and such places, who are just relying on what in economic terms is normally called a greater fool. That I'll purchase a plot for 300,000 and hope in 2 years' time, without adding any bit of infrastructure to it, I can sell it for 400,000 or 500,000. It's good business. It makes somebody some pocket change. But we should focus that money on doing actual houses so that we can sort out the Kiberas, the Mukurus, the Mathare slums that we have around. We need to create instruments in the market that can focus and channel this money where it's much more useful. There was a good attempt last year with the I-rate that was floated. Yeah. And I think with an enabling environment, we can have much more of that, of such instruments, so that we stop what I find an almost wasteful form of business and economics.
Anthony, I'd like to get your closing remarks about, so far you've talked about this mind shift that you'd like to see happen in the market, and how soon will you be able to deliver the units you're talking about, and how much will they be going for?
Falcon Development is working on a 64-bedroom development, a 64 units, 2-bedroom apartments development. We're breaking ground at the beginning of February this year. We'll be on site for 18 months and hope to deliver a very good quality house to the market. We're inviting Kenyans to come work with us in this project so that it enables our company, other organizations to do more in this sector. We are really inviting the young families to look at the options they have. Our development is on Ngong Road. I'm at a section in between Junction Mall and Lenana School, right opposite the race course, the Ngong race course.
Of course, there to get that land, it was quite expensive, I must believe.
Yes. But it's something we must do, because families want to be near schools, especially schools in Nairobi. Families want to be near social amenities, and they want also to be near their priest. So Ngong Road is an ideal place to people who are working in Kilimani, Upper Hill, the CBD, and Westlands. So we are hoping by working with this type of development, we'll be able to invite more people on board.
Many thanks to having you here as we begin the new year. We've been speaking there to Anthony Mugo, who is the Chief Executive Officer of Falcon Development Limited, just sharing with us some of the key trends we are likely to see in the real estate sector, saying that this area is experiencing unprecedented change. A lot of people having a mind shift around. It's not actually a must for you to go for that 4-bedroomed house as you start off, but you can actually buy a smaller unit as you scale up the home ownership ladder. Asante sana.